Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Out of the Park Baseball 21 here with the Texas Rangers series. As I sit here on August 1st of 2020, the Rangers are sitting here at 32 and 79. We are 2 games ahead of the Tigers as far as battling it out for the worst team in baseball goes. Want to take you through some interesting moves that I made um, throughout June and July. I did want to highlight that my draftees have been signed. I signed each and every one of the players that we had drafted this year. And I want to take you quickly through some of the transactions that I had decided to make. So, the first move that we made was on July 12th. We decided to move Corey Kluber to the Philadelphia Phillies. Kluber was actually pitching really well for us in both June and July. He got his ERA down to 4, and since he's been with Philly, he's pitched pretty well for them as well. But it was time to move on from Corey Kluber. The state of our team at 32 and 79, it just wasn't going to be worth paying 35-year-old Corey Kluber $18 million next year. We were going to decline that option anyway, and he was pitching well, so we figured we might as well get some players for Kluber. The players that we brought back from the Philadelphia Phillies were Adam Hazley, who is a really interesting player. My scout really likes him. We believe he has 4-star potential. He could play all 3 positions in the outfield. He's a plus defender in both of the corner outfield spots. Personality-wise, he's a good teammate, so he's someone that's going to mesh well with the locker room, and he's still got room to grow. He's 24 years old on a minimum salary, and these hitting ratings are fantastic. He looks like someone who could potentially, knock on wood, turn into a superstar. Historically, he was a first-round pick for the Phillies in 2017, so he's someone that obviously we were really excited to get into our farm system or into the Rangers organization, get some young talent in here and really start to rebuild this team the right way. We've actually made him, we've actually moved him to the big leagues. He was playing at AAA for the Phillies. Granted, he did already have some MLB experience. He played in 67 games for the Phillies in 2019. This year, in their AAA system, he was batting .294 with 18 doubles, 8 home runs, 54 RBIs. We started him out in our AAA system. He played 11 games down there. He batted .271 with 2 homers and 8 RBIs. And then we decided to promote him to the big league club. He's only played in 5 games, but he's batted .286 for us. So he's someone that we're really, really excited to have here in Texas. And coming over with him were 2 additional players, one of which was Trevor Betancourt. He's currently in AAA for us. He's a relief pitcher, an extreme ground ball guy with good ratings. I don't think he's going to be a closer for us in the big leagues. Granted, he's a closer in AAA for us right now. But I do think Trevor Betancourt will likely get a shot with the big league team next year. He's 26 years old. He's kind of coming into his prime. His ratings look like they fully developed. And he's someone I expect to be in our bullpen next year. When the rosters expand, he might get called up as well. Additionally, coming over with Betancourt was another relief pitcher named Kyle Doey. Now, Kyle Doey has severe control problems, at least on paper. In high A ball, in the Philadelphia system. He was walking almost 7 batters per 9. Last year, he was walking almost 9 batters per 9. He's pitched in 4 games, 4 innings pitched for us, though, and he hasn't walked anyone. He struck out 11 people through 4.1 innings. So this guy has incredible stuff. He's got a 3-pitch mix that are all plus pitches. If he can develop that control even to like a 40, I think he can be like a premier relief pitcher. He was worth a throw-in as that 3rd piece in the deal. I mean, let's be honest. We were really happy to get a guy like Hazley back in that deal for Corey Kluber. We shed off a ton of money, and we got 2 potential relief arms, one of which should be ready next year or potentially even this year, and the next is a project, but he's a really interesting one. So we decided to move Corey Kluber for those 3 players, moving Kluber to the Philadelphia Phillies. The next move was we decided to move on from Jordan Lyles. He had requested a trade from us as well around the deadline. He wasn't pitching terribly well for us. He had a 5.62 ERA through 96 innings for us. And look, he was on contract next year for $7 million. Do I think a pitcher who's pitching to almost a 6 ERA is worth $7 million? I do not. Was certainly surprised for what we got for him. We ended up sending Jordan Lyles to the New York Mets, along with Josh Jung, who was one of our higher ranked prospects. He was a 77th overall prospect. My scout doesn't love him as much as OSA. He wasn't having a great year for us in high A ball. He was batting 234, only 6 home runs in 83 games. So I didn't think Josh Jung was really going to develop into what OSA thinks he will. So we moved Josh Jung, Jordan Lyles, and this throw-in prospect, Humberto Hernandez, over to the Mets. He's a 20-year-old kind of outfielder. I don't expect him to really turn into much. But we moved those 3 players to the Mets in exchange for Justin Wilson, who is a veteran left-hander. He's actually transitioned into our closer. He's only on the books for the rest of this year. Was kind of a salary swap with the Mets to kind of keep them below what I guess they were looking to spend. But, Justin Wilson is a veteran arm for us. It never hurts to have hard-throwing lefties in your bullpen. So we acquired Justin Wilson, but the players I'm really excited about in this deal. We got the 79th overall prospect back for Josh Jung named Mark Vientos. My scout really likes him, and OSA does as well. He's only 20 years old. He's a 6'4" third baseman who's currently in A ball for us. He looks like he's going to develop into a real hitter. If he can just develop into an average third baseman, I think he can be a really, really good player for us. So he's only 20 years old, a ton of room to develop. He's played in 15 games for us at high A. He's batting 288. So he's someone that I'm really, really excited to kind of get into our system. He's young and he's kind of ready to go. He's 2 years younger than Josh Jung, so a little bit further out potentially, but his ratings already look like he's developing. He looks like he might even be ready for the big leagues in 2021 or 2022. So we acquired Mark Vientos in that deal. We also acquired starting pitcher David Peterson. Now, David Peterson is the 23rd ranked prospect in the MLB. We actually had him in the big leagues. The Mets had him in the big leagues as well. He was kind of a reliever for them. He had only thrown 13 innings, but to a 2.08 ERA. He started a game for us and actually did really, really well. And then he got injured. He tweaked his oblique. He had a couple games that we tried to pitch him through, and he really struggled, so we decided to move him to the IL. But it's not a serious injury, only 4 weeks, and he's someone long-term that we're really excited about. He looks like he can really develop into, a middle-of-the-rotation type of arm for us, and he's a left-hander. So we decided to move Jordan Lyles for a pitcher that I think is younger with a potential that's better than Lyles. Moving Jung, able to acquire a prospect we're really, really excited about, and as well as a bullpen arm for the rest of this year in Justin Wilson. So those are the 2 moves we made so far. I did make a couple more moves, actually, some minor moves. I moved Jeff Mathis, who is a AAA catcher for us. He's 37 years old. Just wanted to see if anyone wanted to take a flyer on him. Actually, the Baltimore Orioles did. They were willing to give us Asher Wojcicki. Look, he's nothing special. He had 28 innings in their AAA system to a 3.49 ERA. He pitched 54 innings for their big league team in Baltimore to an ERA just under 5. Look, he's someone, after trading all the starting pitchers we traded, he's someone I brought in really simply just to eat innings for us. I think he's our number 5 starter right now. And, he's at 60 stamina, so he's going to eat innings. He's not a long-term solution by any means, but Jeff Mathis wasn't anything special anyway, and we were able to acquire this reliever as well from them named Zach Pop. Potentially could turn into something. Not super sure. He throws really hard. He's a side armor, and he's a closer right now at single A ball. He's only 23 years old. Hopefully there's some room to develop there, but might as well take a flyer on a pitching prospect, a guy who can eat innings for us for essentially a player that was making. He actually was making some money with us. He was making $3 million with us. So we moved him off the books and saved some money there. Additionally, Mike Minor requested a trade as well. None of our pitchers were terribly happy to be here, so we decided to move Mike Minor over to the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was in the last year of his deal at $9.5 million. We were able to bring back a prospect I'm pretty excited about, Cole Tucker. Cole Tucker is a former first-round pick of the Pirates in 2014. He's still only 24 years old. The potential's there as far as gap power, eye discipline. He looks like an above-average shortstop defensively. He's someone that look if Elvis Andrus really starts to take a dive for us, Cole Tucker is someone that we expect to kind of step in and be our shortstop of the future. We also acquired Blake Wyman from them. He's currently in our bullpen in Texas. He had pitched pretty well through 19 innings for Pittsburgh this year. He's a left-hander with some really good stuff, really good control. I really like what I see out of Wyman. So we added another bullpen arm. Look, our bullpen was a real weakness for us, so we moved Mike Minor for a major league bullpen arm and a shortstop prospect. We released Juan Nicasio to make some room. The Mets picked him up and put him in their AAA system. In the last trade we made, Lance Lynn had requested a trade as well. He was pitching well for us. It was kind of a tough decision because he was controllable at only $8 million next year, but he was really unhappy here, and we got a really good return, I think, guys. We got a 25-year-old starting pitching prospect named Alex Reyes. He's currently on the Rangers. I believe he's our third starter right now. He got 4+ pitches with really good stuff. Really good stamina. He throws really hard. So he's someone that actually OSA even likes a little bit better than our scout. And if he can turn into what our scout thinks he can, I think he's worth it. He's, making the league minimum right now. And he's only 25 years old with some room to develop. So Alex Reyes comes back for Lance Lynn along with a really interesting relief pitcher named Cody Whitley, 25-year-old right-handed pitcher with 3+ pitches. Look, our scout actually likes him a little bit better than OSA, despite not having a great read on him. He's actually closing for us in Texas right now, which is kind of awesome. He hasn't gotten an opportunity yet because we don't win a lot of games, but a really strong relief arm and a really interesting young starting pitcher for Lance Lynn. We also released Cody Allen to make some room. He's currently a free agent. No one has signed Cody Allen yet, but that's the moves we've made, guys. We really revamped the starting rotation. We had a lot of expiring money in our starting rotation, and we decided Alex Reyes. We looked to move Kyle Gibson. He requested a trade, but he's pitching to a 5.93 ERA. I would have loved to move away from Kyle Gibson, but I just wasn't getting enough return for him to make it really worth it. We've promoted Colby Allard from our minor league system. He's only 22 years old. In 17.1 innings so far this year, he's thrown to a 4.15 ERA, so he's interesting. We just promoted Tyler Phillips when David Peterson went down with an injury. He's only 22 years old, so we're just going to give these guys shots, see if there's anything there. Maybe these guys can turn into bullpen arms next year. Maybe they'll develop into something, but really giving Tyler Phillips a shot to kind of take that number 5 starter next year. I do believe that Reyes, Gibson, Allard, and Peterson will be in our rotation next year. Wojcicki, likely not. So we're just kind of giving guys tryouts here. As far as the bullpen goes, look, it's bad. We did promote Joe Barlow, who is one of our really top bullpen prospects. He looks like he's going to turn into a real closer. He's actually pitched really well for us so far this year. It's only been 3 innings, but he was pretty good. He's been pretty good in the past, and Joe Barlow is someone with a lot of talent, so we figured we'd take a shot on him. Let's give some of these young guys a chance and see what they can kind of turn into. This is what our bullpen and our rotation looks like now. As far as the lineup goes, really similar to what we had before. We did promote Hazley. He is starting center fielder. We demoted Heineman to AAA. Scott Heineman, was actually playing pretty well for us, but I wanted to give these young guys a chance. So what the team looks like right now, Gallo's kind of put it together this year. He looks like he's going to be someone who's going to hit 35 homers, maybe driving 100 runs, so he's going to be the one bright spot of the team this year. Other than that, Frazier's actually had an okay year for what you expect out of Todd Frazier. Elvis Andrus has done pretty well as well. Willie Calhoun has been a nightmare. I'm not sure why he has performed so horribly, but we're going to ride out the rest of the year with Willie Calhoun at least, just because we have nothing to lose. Robinson Chirinos is someone that teams showed interest in at the deadline. I just didn't feel like we were going to get enough for him. He's someone that we could potentially pick up an option on next year if he continues to produce. He's not my issue is defensively, he's not great, and he doesn't put the bat on the ball a lot. He does hit a lot of home runs, but um, he's probably not someone we're going to bring around. But I just didn't see enough there in the market to really bring him. Really get anything in return for him. As far as what we did, though, we actually cleared up a ton of money. I know going into the year we had no money for free agents. Now we have around 15 million to spend on free agents this offseason. We have a lot of money for extensions. So we're in a better financial spot. We're going to get Shin Chu off the books, and we're in a much better spot financially to really kind of revamp this team. Our payroll is 101 million right now. We only have 87 million in guaranteed money next year. I imagine it's going to be even lower after we release some of these guys down here. But look, this is a rebuild. We cleared a lot of money. We have signed our big time prospects. We're looking to really bolster the farm system, which is something that I think we've started to do. We had a 28th ranked farm system last time I checked in with you guys. We now have the 14th ranked farm system. We actually brought in this 16-year-old pitcher named Victor Salinda, who OSA really likes. I don't know that we love him so much, but he's someone we signed to a minor league deal in May, and we could potentially move on from him if we don't think he's going to develop into anything. But look, we brought in Vientos Peterson. We still have Tavares. We have Tyler Phillips now making his way into the MLB. So there's our depth in the minor league system has really improved. We're looking to improve this minor league system in the offseason as well, but we'll see how the rest of these guys develop. I don't expect the rest of the season to play out. We are probably going to lose 100-plus games, but I'll check in with you guys back in the offseason and provide you with an update. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.